The stars shimmered faintly in the endless black void, their cold light barely illuminating the sleek, angular hull of the UNS Resolute. Captain Dax Mercer stood on the bridge, his hands clasped tightly behind his back, his gaze fixed on the holographic display in front of him. The tension in the room was palpable, every officer and crew member silent as they awaited his orders. "How long until they arrive?" Dax asked, his voice low but steady. 4 hours, 23 minutes, replied the ship's AI, a calm, feminine voice named Lyra. The Vornak fleet is maintaining their current trajectory. Estimated strength, 400 warships. Dax exhaled slowly, his jaw tightening. The Vornak were the galaxy's most feared conquerors, a race of biomechanical monstrosities that consumed entire civilizations to fuel their endless expansion. And now they were coming for Earth. "Status of the evacuation?" he asked. 78% complete, Lyra said, "but we won't have enough time to evacuate everyone." Dax closed his eyes, the weight of the situation pressing down on him like a physical force. Billions of lives hung in the balance, and he knew that no matter what he did, not all of them would survive. "Send the order," he said finally. "Activate Project Revenant." The bridge fell silent. Every officer turned to stare at him, their expressions a mix of shock and disbelief. "Sir," said Commander Elise Tanaka, his second in command, "are you sure? Project Revenant hasn't been tested. We don't even know if it will work." "We don't have a choice," Dax said, his voice hard. "If we don't stop the Vornak here, there won't be an Earth left to save." Elise hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, sir." Deep beneath the surface of the moon, in a facility hidden from the galaxy for decades, Project Revenant came to life. Massive turbines roared to life, drawing power from the moon's core. Rows of cryogenic pods hissed open, releasing clouds of freezing mist as their occupants stirred. They were human, but not entirely. Enhanced with cybernetic implants and genetic modifications, they were the result of humanity's desperate attempt to create a weapon capable of standing against the galaxy's greatest threats. They were the Revenants, soldiers who had sacrificed their humanity to become something more. At the center of the facility, a massive, spherical device began to glow, its surface covered in intricate glowing runes. It was the Nexus, a weapon unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Vornak fleet arrived in a flash of light, their massive organic ships bristling with weapons. They moved with terrifying precision, their biomechanical hulls pulsing with a sickly green light. Aboard the UNS Resolute, Dax watched as the fleet closed in, his heart pounding in his chest. "Lyra," he said, "is the Nexus ready?" "Yes, Captain," the AI replied, "but I must warn you, activating the Nexus will have unforeseen consequences." "Define unforeseen," Dax said. "The energy output will be unprecedented," Lyra said. "It may destabilize the moon's core, possibly even the Earth's." Dax's jaw tightened. "Do it." The Nexus activated with a blinding flash of light, a pulse of energy rippling outward in all directions. The Vornak fleet faltered, their ships shuddering as the energy disrupted their systems. And then the Revenants struck. They moved like shadows, their enhanced bodies allowing them to board the Vornak ships with terrifying speed. Armed with weapons that burned with the same energy as the Nexus, they tore through the Vornak forces with ruthless efficiency. But the Nexus was unstable. The energy it unleashed began to ripple through the moon, causing massive quakes that sent plumes of dust and rock into space. "Captain," Lyra said, her voice urgent, "the moon's core is destabilizing. We need to evacuate." "Not yet," Dax said, his eyes fixed on the holographic display. We have to finish this. The battle raged on, the Revenants cutting through the Vornak fleet like a scythe through wheat. But the cost was high. The moon began to break apart, massive chunks of rock hurtling toward Earth. "Captain," Lyra said, "if we don't leave now, we won't make it." Dax hesitated, then nodded. "All ships, retreat. Get to a safe distance." The UNS Resolute and the remaining human ships fled, their engines burning bright as they raced away from the collapsing moon. Behind them, the Nexus unleashed one final pulse of energy, obliterating the Vornak fleet in a blinding explosion. In the aftermath, Earth was scarred, but alive. The Vornak threat had been eliminated, but at a terrible cost. The moon was gone, its fragments forming a ring of debris around the planet. Dax stood on the bridge of the Resolute, staring out at the wreckage. "We survived," he said quietly, "but at what cost?" The bridge of the UNS Resolute was silent, save for the faint hum of the ship's systems. Captain Dax Mercer stood motionless, his eyes fixed on the debris field that now encircled Earth like a graveyard in the stars. The moon, their ancient companion, was gone, its remnants forming a ring of jagged rocks and shimmering dust. The sight was both haunting and beautiful, a testament to the cost of survival. "Status report," Dax said, his voice heavy with exhaustion. Lyra, the ship's AI, responded immediately. "The Vornak fleet has been completely neutralized. No survivors detected. Earth's orbital defenses remain intact, though severely depleted. Evacuation efforts are ongoing, but the destruction of the moon has caused significant tidal disruptions on the planet's surface. Coastal cities are reporting catastrophic flooding." Dax closed his eyes, the weight of her words pressing down on him. They had won, but the victory felt hollow. Billions had been saved, but millions more would suffer in the aftermath. "Send a message to Earth Command," he said. "Let them know the Vornak threat has been eliminated. And prepare a list of casualties." "Understood, Captain," Lyra said. Commander Elise Tanaka approached him, her expression grim. "We did what we had to do," she said softly. "If we hadn't activated the Nexus, there wouldn't be an Earth left to save." "I know," Dax said, his voice barely above a whisper, "but knowing doesn't make it any easier." He turned to face her, his eyes filled with a mixture of determination and sorrow. "The galaxy knows about us now," he said. "They've seen what we're capable of. The Vornak were just the beginning. Others will come, and when they do, we need to be ready." Elise nodded. "We'll be ready," she said. Far from Earth, in the cold, uncharted depths of space, a lone Vornak escape pod drifted silently. Inside, a single survivor stirred, its biomechanical body twitching as it reactivated. Its glowing green eyes flickered to life, and it let out a low, guttural growl. The Vornak were not a species that forgave or forgot. And now, they had seen humanity's true potential. On Earth, the remnants of Project Revenant were being dismantled, the surviving soldiers placed back into cryogenic stasis. But not all of them. In a hidden facility, deep beneath the surface, a single Revenant remained active. It stood in a dark chamber, its glowing eyes scanning the room as it awaited orders. Dr. Elena Ramirez, the lead scientist behind the project, watched the Revenant from behind a reinforced glass wall. "We unleashed something we don't fully understand," she said, her voice tinged with both awe and fear. Her assistant, a young man named Carter, frowned. "Do you think we'll need them again?" Eleanor didn't answer immediately. She stared at the Revenant, its cybernetic body humming softly as it stood motionless. Finally, she said, "I hope not. But if we do, I hope we're ready for what comes next." The galaxy had underestimated humanity. They had seen Earth as a backwater planet, its people as weak and insignificant. But now they knew the truth. Humanity was a species that refused to die, a species that would sacrifice everything to survive. And in the cold, unforgiving void of space, that made them the most dangerous species of all. The stars would never forget the day Earth made its stand, and neither would the galaxy.